All right, class. Today we're going to be learning about the history of the town of Narragansett. So, the town was founded in 1636 by Roger Williams. When Roger Williams came to Narragansett, he was welcomed by the strong Native American tribe and their great Sakim. All right, class. Anyone know how Narragansett came to be?
Two groups of investors bought it.
Unreal. So, Gianna, where did you find that out from?
NarragansettRI.gov.
That's awesome. So, in 1658 and 1659, two groups of investors had bought the historic
Petasquamsky.
Thank you, student.
Thank you, Kev. Thank you. Does anyone know how the name of Narragansett was chosen for the town?
I do.
Kevin.
The town name was actually translates to people of small point, and this was created distinguishingly itself from surrounding areas and villages.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, so who knows the geographical characteristics of Narragansett? Who knows it?
3 peninsulas.
The name of the 3 peninsulas are Boston Neck, Little Neck, and Point Judith Neck.
All right, Kev, no milk in my class. Get that out of here. Yeah, these peninsulas served largely for grazing, farming, and fishing purposes. Got that information on narragansett.gov. Great website. So, what wars were fought around the region of Narragansett? Kevin.
The King Philip's War, the American Revolution, the War of 1812, and these wars caused the population to expand slowly.
Good stuff, Kevin. Good stuff. All right. That's a wrap. All right, we're getting out of this class. It's too warm in here.
The Battle of Bonnet was a war that took place in 1778. This was when the Narragansetts defeated the British. This is the exact location of where the battle took place. This rock represents where the Bonnet Battery was captured from the British in 1778. This was a coastal defense battle for the Narragansetts. The Narragansetts would fire from this location across the ocean into Jamestown. These facts are from the Narragansett Library.
So, Gianna, you asked for extra help about Narragansett?
I did. I have a couple more questions.
Okay.
Why did Narragansett have such trouble expanding in the beginning?
Well, it was because wars like the King Philip's War, the American Revolution, and the War of 1812 caused the population to expand much slower. And during these wars, large plantations emerged. Commerce evolved as the land was commonly used to produce cheese, sheep, horses, and grain. The largest trade port for shipments was the Narragansett Bay.
Despite the setbacks, how did Narragansett begin to grow?
So Narragansett had a drastic change in growth in 1848 when Joseph Heatley, Dulles of Philadelphia, came to the town. He was fascinated by Narragansett's beauty and invited his whole family and all of his friends to come stay. For this reason, he made the first hotel in Narragansett called the Narragansett House, and it was created for his whole family and friends to stay in. Then from there, word spread about the town, and tourists flocked to the town for the summer rather than just days of a week.
How did the Civil War affect Narragansett?
The Civil War, after the spike of the population growth, was slowing down the growth of the Narragansett population. But then tourism started up again in 1876, due to the making of the Narragansett Pier Railroad, and that provided another shipping method for the town. In 1900, the start of the 20th century, an introduction of the automobile came out. The automobile provided better and easier transportation to all the people and tourists of Narragansett. Also in 1910, the restoration of the towers after the Great Fire had happened. The towers were the entranceway to the original Narragansett Pier Casino.
What other world events affected Narragansett?
Well, things such as World War I and the Great Epidemic of 1918 and the Great Depression all affected not only Narragansett, but basically all of America. And the Volstead Act, which prohibited the manufacture, sale, or transportation of alcoholic beverage, gave a negative impact for tourists staying at resorts in Narragansett. On September 21st, 1938, the Great Hurricane of 1938, the first such major storm in the area since the Great Gale of 1815, struck New England. The hurricane killed 312 people in Rhode Island, almost half in the southeast portion of the state, including Narragansett.
What was the aftermath of these natural disasters?
Another setback because of the storm is the millions of dollars worth of property damage. And in the aftermath of the hurricane, the town of Narragansett acquired the town beachfront, previously owned privately, and constructed 2 new town-operated public bathing pavilions. The Dunes Club was built in 1928 and then rebuilt in 1940 after the hurricane. The state of Rhode Island had begun to claim the attractive beachfronts at Scarborough and Galilee and run them as public beaches.
What was the overall impact that the Second World War had on Narragansett?
So after the Second World War, Narragansett began to regain some of its vigor and optimism. The U.S. economy and its population boomed in the post-war years. These increases resulted from post-war family formation, plus new and improved roads allowing easier commuting to jobs north of the town.
Did Narragansett have any other natural disasters that set them back?
Well, there was Hurricane Carol, and that caused more destruction to Narragansett, and when the Narragansett Pier Casino burned to the ground in 1956.
Did they make a new casino after the other one burned to the ground?
Yeah, they did, but the casino lost sight when the elite tended their activities around the more removed Dunes Club and Point Judith Country Club. But the casino still became a prominent area for featuring dance bands of the popular swing music era, providing entertainment for thousands of enthusiastic customers.
What is the Narragansett population like today?
Well, Narragansett continues to grow rapidly, and the population went up 660% from 1950 to 2000, as new residents attracted by the town's splendid natural assets and accessibility to urban centers.
How far away are these urban centers from Narragansett?
Well, it's only 30 minutes to Providence or Newport, 90 minutes to Boston, and 3 hours to New York City.
What are some of the vital attractions in the town of Narragansett?
Well, in Point Judith, at the south end of the town, fishing remains a vital industry in the port of Galilee, while swimming, surfing, and sunbathing in and around 3 magnificent state beaches, Scarborough, Roger W. Wheeler, and Salty Brine.
Whatever happened to the towers?
The towers became an extremely popular venue for weddings and various other celebrations. Gansett has also made more progress in the last decade with respect to conservation. Planning is well underway for a town park in Canachet Farm, this 160-acre forested area opposite the town beach. The 2 bathhouses are receiving careful treatment. The South Pavilion has been refurbished. The North Pavilion is undergoing a thorough overhaul.
This is the Narragansett Indian statue. This is located in Narragansett, Rhode Island, in Sprague Park. The Narragansetts were the first people here in Narragansett. They are descendants of the Aboriginal people in the state of Rhode Island. Agricultural evidence and oral history of the Narragansett people established their existence in this region more than 30,000 years ago. This is an honor roll of the town of Narragansett. This plaque lists all the names of important soldiers that left their place here in the town of Narragansett.
So basically, to sum it all up, in the 3.5 centuries since the arrival of the English settlers, Narragansett has evolved from a rural farming and fishing community to a dominant tourist economy, and now to a suburban categorization with significant tourism attributes. Narragansett remains to be a very popular tourist spot and place to live in New England.
Thank you, Mr. Chelo.
No problem. No.
That's not fun.
So Gianna, you asked for extra. So Gianna, you asked for extra help about Narragansett. So Gianna, you asked for extra help about Narragansett. Commerce evolved as the land was.
Despite the setbacks,
And Joseph Heatley.
what was the overall
Land was commonly used. Produce?